Hi everyone, welcome back to Tutorial Thursdays. So today I thought we would just talk about color, how to layer color, and what part silicone plays in creating a painting with cells. And today we'll be using the silicone, spot-on silicone from the treadmill silicone. And I think we'll just work on a tile or two just to see what effects we'll get. And I have these here. I like these as tester tiles actually because they seem to just wash off and I can use them again until I'm ready to bloom something on them and make them into trivets. So I have a lot of colors here. I have our Beach Retreat Shimmer, Lemon Lime. This one is Coral Reef, Victoria's Muscadine Wine, Morning Pansy, Shelley's Masquerade, which is our version of Mysterious, Christina's Laguna, Allen's Red Shimmer. This is our Knockoff, which is the version of Knockout by Art Minds, Orange Marmalade, Bubblegum Shimmer, Moody Blue Shimmer, Dark Chocolate Shimmer, Copper Metallic, Gold Metallic, and Champagne Shimmer. These are some paints that I had left over, and I did add a few new ones. And we'll see how they kind of interact with each other. We're going to do some complementary type stuff and see where that takes us. Let me grab a pair of gloves first. So we talked a lot about the color wheel the past few tutorials. We also talked about our schemes, which was our analogous, split complementary, and so forth. So I thought, what better way to show you those in action than to pour with them. So we already know that purple and orange are complementary colors. So I want to do a painting with these two colors to show you how you can make them work by splitting them up with colors in between. We could even add a copper there. And how you can use them, because if you do want purple and orange in a painting, you can make it work. I wouldn't suggest doing a flip cup with those colors, only because they may muddy up on you, but if you layer them and encase those colors, you might be okay. So I'm just going to do some little pours here. I'm not even going to worry about tilting and such because I just want to show you how they work. Let's see. So I think for right now I'm going to use some black, because black in a flip cup is fine. There's a lot of colors you have to keep black away from. Orange would be one of them, to tell you the truth. That will muddy by itself. But you can use black. Brian uses black quite a bit, right, Brian? And he has good luck with it. My thing is, when you're using black, these metallics work great to offset the sides, but you have to be careful what metallics you put next to black as well. Deco Art makes a lot of metallics, and there's a lot of colors that you definitely don't want to put next to black. So let's say I'm going to do a flip cup. I'm going to add a little black there. We know that black will push down through and create some lacing if it's used properly. So next to that black, I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of copper. Now you'll see me, I'm going to layer on top of that black. So let's say I want to go ahead and use the Morning Pansy. It's okay if I drip because this is just testing. Now, I I definitely want to try some orange in here. So I have to be careful what I put next to this. So I am going to go ahead and add some knockoff, because I do use this regularly with the morning pansy, and it works beautiful, and it dries really pretty next to the morning pansy. And this is knockoff. We have this in the Etsy shop as well. So now I want to encase that. And what I say encase is to separate that, because that orange is going to come into play. So let's take some gold. Gold will work with both of these colors, so keep that in mind. Gold and orange is not bad together, and gold and knockoff is not bad together. You might want to try one more color before you add the orange. You don't have to, but I'm just going to drizzle a little bit of pink on top of this, just for that little extra assurance that that orange is not going to get into that purple. So let's go ahead and add our orange marmalade. And again, we want to encase this, because when we flip the cup, the orange will be on the bottom, we get nothing. So let's do a little champagne shimmer on that. I'm trying to use up paint, so this works out great. Yay. It's like when I empty a bottle, except it's a cup. Okay. I still don't want to add black, but see, because the orange is still showing. So let's take a little bit of gold, and we'll just run it around that edge. We don't want all that orange hitting that black. It'll make a crappy brown color. Alright, so now we can add some black. So all of our colors are encased in black. So black on the bottom, black on the top. So let's flip this. None of these paints have silicone, so we're not going to get like this bunch of cells that come flying up to the top. But we'll talk about that in a bit. So let's open it up. You can see where the copper has kept that orange away. Let's tilt it out and see. I did get cells, didn't I? Oh, you know why? I accidentally used the black with silicone. Oh boy. But I'm just showing you how you can use purple and black together, and how to separate. So let me torch that. Purple and orange. Did I say purple and black? So I don't really have mud. This is probably some copper and some gold mixed in there. But it's not the true mud that we talk about. And let me show you what true mud looks like. So if I take a little bit of purple, actually just be easier if I'm going to dump it, because I'm going to get a true test here for you. If I take the purple and I immediately put the orange on top. And we'll add a little bit more purple to like close that in, so when we flip it, it's not so in your face there. I already know as these colors are coming down, they're mixing together, and that's going to give us a muddy color. And you can see it here. See it here? On your pour, it may not be as bad, but you know you're going to be using a lot more paint than what I just used, but you can see that mud. We don't have that dark brown in here. We have the black that's mixed in. But we can take this to another level and do more testing with colors that are complementary. Let me scrape this off. Give it a wipe. When you're doing tests like this, these tiles are great for testing color palettes. I use a lot of tiles for testing. Now, if I could get Alan to test them, we'd be all set. He has some funky things come up on his paintings sometimes, but we all do. I just giggle because he's learning, you know. Alright. So, other colors that would not play well. We could even do like a moody blue and an orange. And I would think, oh geez, you know, that's not going to be too bad, right? So these little cups are going to come in handy tonight. Let's start with the orange. I did get some purple on the edge of it, but that's okay. And let's add some moody blue. And then we'll go back to the orange. These aren't complementary colors, but they are colors that I would not put next to each other. Because they will mix, they will blend. Sometimes you can get some beautiful paintings of colors that blend together. And you'd be like, wow, I didn't put that color in there, but where did it come from, right? See it? You can see it already. All I did was lift the cup. It's a greeny brown, not pretty at all. But it's not, those are not two colors that I would put next to each other. So now we know moody blue and orange don't go together. I already knew that, but I want to show you guys. So I get asked this question a lot of times. And let me see if I have a green. I do. We'll use Brian's annoying green because this color to me is very annoying, but sometimes I like it in a painting as a pop of color, but it's not something that I use regularly. And it's not like one of my best sellers either, but people do buy it. Green and pink. I already know putting that pink on there is going to give me a problem. Now, growing up, I had bedspreads that were green, pink, and white. I used to love that color combo together. And it was this green and maybe a little lime green. So let's show you this pink and green. Brian's not a fan of pink, so I know he doesn't use it with his green. But I want to show you why these don't go together. Let's slide this over here. Because I can show you how you might be able to separate those. Not with a black or a white, but with another color. We already know it's putrid. We'll get a funky peachy orange color because the pink mixed with the green. So now if you want to use pink and green together in a painting, I need more cups, I already know. Alright, let's start with the, well, let's keep going with the theme we're going. So we'll take a little bit of green. On top of that, I'm going to add a little lemon lime. This is a yellow green. It's in the same family of the green. So this would be kind of like an analogous palette so far, because they would be by each other on a color wheel. And let's add a little turquoisey color. This is the Beach Retreat, which is a blue-green. We could say that's a blue-green. Now I don't want to hit it with Shelley's Masquerade, even though those four would be beautiful together. I already know that. So this is how I pick color palettes, by the way. So we're going to add a little bit of gold. The gold with the Beach Retreat may pull another green on us, but it's going to keep the pink from creating a problem. Okay. So now we already know we don't want the pink on the bottom. We have to put something on top. And this is where we could add Shelley's Masquerade to seal that in. Or you could go back to the beach, go the opposite way, and you'll see me do that on a lot on my dirty pours. I'll do the thing and then go backwards the other way. If you watch some of my old videos, you'll see that. So let's see how this turns out. I'm hopeful. Now, I can see a purple. And that's probably colors mixing together. It's a pretty color palette. Kind of lost our pink though, didn't we? But it is there. And it did mix a little bit with Shelley's Masquerade and gave us a purpley color, which is really pretty. But I knew because it was closer to the top we'd lose a lot of it, but it's still there. So let's go the opposite way. Let's take the pink first. That way we know it's on top. And then we'll go, let's do Shelley's Masquerade. Let's do the Beach Retreat. Whoops. We'll do a little bit of lemon lime. I know all these are going to work together, so we should be fine on this one. We'll do Brian's green. But I want one more color, so I can flip that and not have it stuck on the bottom. Let's go back with a little more of the lime green, just because I need it there for the base. I'm going to turn my tile this way. Alright, so we know the pink's going to be on top, right? Or is it going to sink? What do you guys think? Alright, let's see. It sunk! Do you know why it sank? Because pink is more opaque than greens. Greens are normally transparent, semi-transparent. But pink is, I would say, semi-opaque, so it's heavier. So it sank. But it's still pretty, and that color palette still works. We don't have any mud there. No funkadillies. So that color palette we know we can use, and it's actually quite pretty here. So that's not bad. But we're going to take it a step farther. This is all going in my paint jug, which will take a month to dry. I'm working on a paint jug. It's so close to the top right now. And that's all dry so far, what's in there. Someday I'd like to cut the plastic off and carve it out. I have a linear cutter, so I would like to carve it into something and have all the layers of paint that I've put in there. Design it into some kind of sculpture. It'd be cool. Alright. Let's talk about silicone. I know a lot of you hate it. I love it. I absolutely love it. If you clean your paintings properly, not a problem. If you hate cleaning paintings, I can't help it. A lot of people don't like cells. I love cells. I'm what I always say, I'm a cell whore, because I love cells. That's what got me interested in acrylic pouring, was the cells. Jenny Post was the girl that I started watching. When I saw her paintings, I'm like, oh, I gotta do that. I want to try that so bad with the silicone, because I was getting nothing with just paints. I would get the swirlies and the zigzags, and it was like, whatever. You know, I wasn't really enjoying the process until I learned how to do cells. And it wasn't, a lot of it came down to pouring medium. Because with just Floetrol, my cells aren't as, I want to say structured. They're more wispy. They're not holding tight. They kind of fan out more, and I don't like those kind of cells. I like the cells that are, this is why I love blooming. I love the cells that you'll see colors inside of each other. We call them Peacock Cells. When you can get 3 or 4 colors in a cell, it's beautiful. But a lot of people don't like silicone, and that's a personal preference for each one of you. You do you. You do what you want. But for me, I don't use silicone in every painting, but I use it a lot. So let's take some colors here. And we're going to add just a drop of silicone to them to show you what I get from using silicone. So if you don't use it, this might be a great lesson for you on how to layer colors with silicone. We don't know. Let's add coral reef to this mix. And I will put some copper in, but I don't need to add silicone to that. It's a very high metallic, so we may get cells from it even without silicone. So we will be using white with silicone, because this one didn't have it. Alright. So I just need a tiny drop in each cup, because this really is, to me, is even too much. My rule of thumb is 1 drop for every 2 ounces, and this isn't even an ounce. And you don't have to squeeze this bottle. They do come out by themselves. You just have to be patient. So I'm going to stir that in. Now, the more you stir, the smaller your cells. I don't like the big, great big cells, so I always stir it in. And when I get done with this painting, I'll show you last week's paintings. Okay. Since this is a video and not a live, and we're not pixelating, I hope you'll be able to see them up close better. Okay. So right now we're going to use copper. This is a beautiful color palette, by the way. You might want to write that one down if you're looking for color palettes. I've been told that I need to come out with color palette cards. I don't want to copy Gina DeLuca at all, but I would love to put something out with color palettes for the Praj Posse paints, where you add a black, a white, or something that I don't carry in my line. So we may do that. I'm only going to use this cup because I'm going to be adding white and I want to make sure I have enough room. Alright, white down first. The white on the bottom, and I'm sure most of you already know this, when you flip it, it laces, but it sinks. If it stays on the top, your white's too thick. Alright, let's go. Let's go with the Beach Retreat first. I'm going to try to do this so I get 2 layers of each color. I'm going to go kind of in the order I'm in, except I'm going to put the copper between the knockoff and the brown. Or yellow, I'm sorry. This does not have silicone. And that's coral reef, not knockoff. Sorry. They're so close. Look how close they are. This does have a purple, a violet hue to it, so that's the best way to tell them apart. Alright. Now here's, when you do your first layer, here's where you're thinking to yourself, do I want to add more white? If you look at your cup and you put white in there, you know the white is going to fade out that brown. So I try not to add it that way, but I will at the end, and I'll show you. So let's go ahead and get the rest of this in. Some copper. I love when people email me and say, could you help me with a color palette? If I'm not busy, I don't mind, but there are days when I'm swamped. It may take me a while to get back to you. But, you know, like, don't send me an email and want an answer in 5 minutes, because it's not going to happen. Alright. I would like to add some white, right? So, flip your bottle up, squirt down, so it goes down through. That way it pulls the color with it, and you don't have just that fading out, that brown. Here's where you can swirl your cup if you want to, or not. If I do, it's just an S. That's it. And I like to look at the stick to see what colors I hit. It's a lot of paint. It's going to fill up a lot of this tile, so I made room for it. But look what we got peeking. Oh, I hit it. But we already know how pretty that's going to be right there. Look at those colors. My white is here. But watch where it goes. It did fade my brown a little bit, but you know, we're going to tilt it. So if this happens and you don't want that white, just tilt. It'll roll over itself. But I do want some of it because that line of color there is beautiful. So a lot of people say when your cells pop up when you first flip your cup, your paint's too thin. That's not necessarily true. If your paint's too thin, when you're stretching like this, your cells won't stay. They'll just get all wonky and they won't look like cells anymore. They dissipate. So we know we're fine. They didn't do anything, right? So let's torch, because now we're going to bring up even more cells. And we can let it grow. So I'm going to pause my camera for a few minutes so you can see the difference, but for you it'll just be like a second. Be right back. Okay, so I'm back. And they do develop, and they did get bigger, some of them. I love this color palette. It's pretty. This is that shot of white that I went down through the middle of the cup, because that's what showed up in the middle. This was what was on the bottom of the cup when we flipped. So it went to one side, but this is where we shot it down. I'm going to let this dry on this tile because there's some areas here that I want for skins. So I'm going to keep this tile. I'm going to put this aside and let it dry. Okay, so dirty cups, dirty pours. I talk about it a lot. I do them a lot. I got a lot of colors left over here, so I can show you how we can use all these colors up and do a dirty pour. I might be able to grab a canvas because there's quite a bit of paint here. So let me do that and I'll be right back. Okay, I grabbed an 8x20. This is just a student grade canvas that I let Alan play with when he wants to do painting. Someday I am going to put all these paintings in Etsy, dirt cheap from Monday nights, and just sell them all. Because we have so many sitting here. I do want to do another auction for St. Jude, and that may be coming up in April. We haven't set a date for sure. I talked about April 9th, and we'll donate 50% to St. Jude. Alright, so I'm just putting my colors where I can see them. I'm going to add silicone to a few of them, not all of them. So, let's see. Beach Retreat. Shelley's Masquerade. Ooh, that was a lot. I tripped one too many. So I'm kind of going every other. Muscadine wine, definitely. Pink, definitely. There's certain colors that really do need silicone for cells that won't make cells on their own. So we'll just give them all just a quick little stir, whether they have silicone or not, just to make sure we're going to use up all our color. I know you guys are probably like, oh, how is she going to use that red with those colors? It'll work. And let me tell you why it will work. We've talked about this on our tutorial Thursday, how you can do dimensional paintings. So we have 3. We'll do a warm, a cool, and then we'll do a those all go together type of thing. Usually I do a green, blue, red, you know, green, cool. I don't have a lot of green here, and I'm not going to pull Brian's green because it's not in a cup. I want to use up what's here. So what we'll do is a little bit of Shelley's here and here. And we're going to put more of this in this one. We'll use it up because this color will take over. So I know when I pour that second cup, I know that I need to go over that one for sure. This will be our first, this will be our second, this will be our last. So on our last cup, let's throw Allen's red and some orange marmalade. Use it up. Well, let's do a little bit of gold there. Don't have to, but I am. I want to save a bit of that for something else. So my Laguna. Let's put the coral reef in there. Follow that with some copper, some of Victoria's muscadine wine. That one I may not be able to use up. Our knockoff, some pink, go back to Ellen's red on that one. Don't overthink it. Alright, so there's one. So, we're left with these. This one we can still probably use. So we might still be okay. So I have Shelly's and I have the lemon lime, and I have a lot of lemon lime in there. So now I'm going to tone it down with a little Moody Blue here. And a lot of Moody Blue here. I can still use this copper because this is the second cup, which will be touching that first cup, so we'll still be okay. I could probably add a little bit of brown here, use up this knockoff. Who knows, we could have a super ugly painting. Let's do the gold on top of the Moody Blue here. Let's add the brown to this one. Use that up. Put a little bit more Shelley's Masquerade in there. And then back to here. Let's go with the purple. Some of these paints are getting thick on me because they've been sitting out. And then we'll finish off with the Beach Retreat. Okay. So we have enough paint. I think we have enough paint. We could actually throw a little bit of, that is silicone. Let's try it. We can always add if we need it. Now, you didn't see me squirt any white in any of those, and I'm not going to. Alright, first cup. I do want to swirl. Just an S. Get my second cup ready to swirl. Start in this corner. See what's coming out. Ooh, I didn't like that lemon lime in there. I mean, we're still okay. We're not really muddy, so. You can say, what was she thinking? Alright. Here comes our red. We're going to totally destroy the blue, probably. once we get some yellow on there, it's not so bad. Now you can look at what's in your cup and see if you want to go over anything. So this big red line here is not, I don't liking that. You can cover that up. Not bad. Let's try and pour back in the bottle. Okay, so we did add silicone and some colors. So let's torch this and see if we have any cells that need to come up. Let's open it up. I don't have any push pins on this either. It's just a grab and go. Look how well that orange and red is playing. So the blue, the first cup that we put down, is what creates dimension. It can be greens or blues. If you do the blues, your next cup should be the greens. We're going from cool to warm. And that's not a bad painting at all, guys. Not at all. Now that we've opened it up. I want to wipe my hands because I want to torch it again. But deep down below, this was below. This is kind of a little funky here, but when it's wet, it's hard to tell what it's going to look like. And we do have brown in here, so we can't say that it's mud. It could be the brown paint. Alright, let me lift it up and you guys can see the colors underneath compared to the colors on top. So we did a ton of color in this painting. And I'm not minding it at all. I think it's very pretty. It's very colorful. And because the cells are so poofy in this, this would look gorgeous resined. I'm going to move it off side of that so it doesn't stick so bad. So I would say that was a score for using up paints and for layering. Process of layering. I bet you there's some more cells here. I just have to open it up. I want to be careful when you're torching like that too. You can pick and choose where you want to torch. You don't have to torch the whole thing. You can pick areas where you know there's silicone in those colors and hit it with your torch. Anne-Marie Ritterhoff was a good one for teaching that. And I learned that from her a long time ago. Back before I started a YouTube channel. So let me get my gloves off for a minute. And I'll show you what we made last Monday. Okay. So I'm going to show you Alan's 2 clocks. And this one I will probably paint the hands gold, because he does have some gold in here. And this one the hands will probably be white. It's purples. It's pretty. And then this was my clock that I did with the champagne and the juniper. I love this little section right here. So that'll be gorgeous with gold hands as well. Or dark hands. Could probably get away with spray painting them like a dark green. And then I did the Lazy Susan. This will get resined. This was that, remember I was trying to pick that clump out? Well, that's where it's at. So with the resin, I don't think it'll be as noticeable as it is to the eye right now. But I love it. And of course, that's the knockoff. Pulling that violet. And then the video that I put up on Monday, this was the one that I really didn't care for, but it's still pretty. And then I love this one, and Ellie wants to come out here to say hi to me. So those two are done. And the only other thing I have is what we did on the Monday premiere, and they're not completely dry yet, so I will show those next time. But I hope everyone learned something tonight. Don't be afraid of color. Just layer. Layer, you know, cool, warm, real warm. Work your way up, build. You can go the opposite way too. But if you have any questions on layering, you know how to get a hold of me. And we'll see what we're going to work on next week. I'm not sure yet. We may be doing a new technique. Or new process of mixing something for a technique. I have a lot of questions on pearl pours still. Every day emails for pearl pours. So we will see if we can get to that. I definitely will be going over that at the retreat, and Dutch pouring on at the retreat. And of course we'll be doing Fiona flowers at the retreat. So if you're coming to the retreat, we're going to have fun. And if not, we'll learn it here. But thanks so much for watching, guys. And we have a Toy Master collaboration coming up next Saturday, the 26th, starting at 3 p.m. on Brian's channel. That's Eastern Time. And we will be doing 2 toys each. There's 6 of us. The trailer is up. I put it up yesterday. And you can see what artists are participating. It's our collab group that we have been together for a bit. And we are Brian's toy testers, so we're really good with his toys. So you're going to see some phenomenal paintings. And it's going to be a fun afternoon for sure. And then Brian will finish off. We'll go to Moose's live, and then we'll go to Doris's live afterwards. And Brian will be back on Sunday with his live. But that's not until next weekend. So, Saturday night, Doris is on at 7 Eastern Time. Check her out, and Brian on Sunday. But until then, I will see you guys on the next one. Bye now.